So you've ever been on your e-bike and you're riding along and you hear someone go, "That's a cheater bike. Get a real bike." Are e-bikes cheating? Hell no, they're not cheating. They're just, a way for you to enjoy a ride. Now, I think there are two instances where e-bikes might be cheating. Well, I would say they are cheating. One, if you enter an e-bike into a race with regular bikes, okay, because isn't that what cheating is? Some sort of, unnatural advantage to competition. And then the other time is Strava. If you win a KOM or take a KOM on your e-bike and you don't change it to an e-bike ride, like you steal it, that's bad. That's definitely cheating, and that's probably worse and more egregious than entering in a bike race, because that's something anybody on an e-bike can do. So I would say never steal a Strava segment on an e-bike unless it's for e-bike, because if you do that, that just gives all of us e-bikers a bad name, and we don't want that, right? So when I think about people who say that you're cheating on an e-bike, I kind of wonder where that's coming from. Or they think it's cheating because you're not having to go through the same experience as they are. Maybe there's like some inherent desire to race and win every single event you enter, or maybe it's just insecurity. I don't know. I mean, I remember the first time I was ever passed by someone on an e-bike, I was a little surprised. I'm like, what the hell is that? An e-bike? That's cheating. Okay, that was my first initial reaction. And after thinking about it, you realize it's not. It was a woman on a bike that reminded me of the bike from Wizard of Oz at the beginning, when the nasty neighbor rode by, and the neighbor turned out to be the Wicked Witch of the West. That's what the bike looked like, and she zipped past us like we were standing still, and we practically were. I mean, she was in a dress, nice hair, basket out front, and she just blew right past us. I'm like, what kind of bike is that? Who is that? And then you could hear the hum. I'm like, that's an e-bike. So that was the first time I ever saw one. We eventually got our e-bikes because we were always getting dropped in our groups. It was tough to kind of keep up with our friends, and so when we got our e-bikes, that really kind of helped level the playing field. Now we could just kind of keep up with them, but they were pretty strong riders, and they still are. Just because we're on e-bikes doesn't mean we're all of a sudden bionic. I mean, my e-bike just gives me a little help. It makes me feel like I'm in a little bit better shape than I really am, but I routinely get dropped by people on this bike who are on regular bikes. I mean, between the power that I can put out and the maximum power that this thing can put out at certain levels, I can't keep up with some riders. I get passed on hills even. There's a lot of strong riders out there. This is for me to help me get through some of my rides. Some people want it, some people don't need it, some people don't want it. So I think it's really just a matter of, what sort of cycling experience do you want to have? I know a lot of people have e-bikes are doing it because they're older or have injuries that they can't really participate in cycling anymore if they are having to use a regular bike. You just never know what the reason is for people to have them. Here in Missouri, there's 3 classes of bikes. Now my bike here, right here, is a class 3, which is pedal assist. So unless I pedal, the bike won't go. There's no throttle on here. There's 3 settings: eco, sport, and turbo, and basically level 1, level 2, level 3, and they give you extra help as you go up the ladder. Now the Specialized also has an app that allows you to adjust how much help the motor gives you in the 3 different settings. So I kind of like it. And if you have an e-bike, don't feel too bad if people start giving you crap. Usually they're just giving you good-hearted trouble. Once in a while they mean it, but those folks, just ignore them. Honestly, I've never had a bad interaction with someone in person. Most of the time people just kind of watch you as you go by, or ask you about it, you know, what does it do, how does it work, that sort of thing. Once in a blue moon, I guess, I've ridden past people and I've seen them give me the stink eye because like we're going into a heavy headwind and they're struggling big time, and the bike rides like there is no headwind. Or like when you're going up a hill and they're struggling and you're not, they might kind of grumble a little bit, but they're never like outwardly mean. The times where you see it the most are when people can hide behind their dog avatars online and someone posts a picture of their e-bike on a Facebook group and then the hounds come out. You know, that's not a real bike. When I ride, I really sweat. You know, get a real bike. You shouldn't ride. If you can't ride a real bike, you shouldn't ride at all. I mean, that kind of silliness. I think people who do that are probably just doing it to get attention. You know, I don't think they really would be like that if you ran into them in person, but who knows, right? When I'm riding my bike, I tend to like not even address the fact that I'm on an e-bike. I just rather just ride my bike and do my ride. So I think that you know, it's a tough call. With my particular bike, it's interesting because it doesn't really look like your typical e-bike. The battery's built into the down tube. It's got a very minimal display for you to manage the speed or the contribution of the motor to your performance. So it's not always super obvious that it's an e-bike at first. I mean, if I ride past you, you'll kind of maybe hear the hum of the engine if I'm really putting it under stress. Engine, motor, I guess they're motors. So it's not always super obvious. There are some e-bikes where it's super obvious. You know, they got the big fat tires and the huge batteries on the down tube. But, you know, that's that. I think what it really boils down to is that, you know, you should ride which gives you the most enjoyment. I mean, it's great to get outside and get some fresh air and enjoy the sunshine. And if you want to ride a bike through the park on an e-bike, ride a bike through the park on an e-bike. It's great exercise and it's a great time. Don't let anyone ever sway you from getting one because they don't think it's a real bike. Now, a lot of times when you're going through the parks do have speed limits, like 15 miles an hour. That's what it is here at this park. So, you know, you ride your e-bike 15 miles an hour or less. I've ridden my regular bike on these trails and I've gone 20. So, you know, who's in the wrong there? Someone on an e-bike going 15 or me on my regular bike going 20. I see people on regular bikes routinely go much faster than I could go. It's not unusual to see that sort of thing. So I think when you're on these trails and you're on an e-bike, you need to be a little more aware of your surroundings because e-bikes can accelerate faster than regular bikes. So you don't want to surprise anybody who might be a walker or a runner or something like that. So I think on e-bikes, when it comes to being inside of a park, you need to be a little more aware of your surroundings just so something bad doesn't happen. Is that it? All right, I have no idea how this is gonna look. I dropped my camera, ran over it. The lens doesn't look busted, but it'll be a real test on how durable this little camera is. But we're still gonna try and record an outro. So in summary, we have a little do's and don'ts list for your e-bike. Do enjoy your ride. Do get something that makes you happy. Do get out and enjoy the fresh air and the sunshine. Don't enter your e-bike in a regular bike race. Don't steal people's Strava segments. And don't let someone talk you out of an e-bike when you really want one. So on that note, that's it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.